is Elgin Subway Surfer Bowling, your creative caricature marketing consultant. And today I want to switch from what I've been doing for the last couple of sessions, where I've been doing a lot of heavy introspective type of me stuff, and just get back to caricature stuff. So thank you very much for putting up with the other stuff that is useful, maybe thought-provoking, but not really related to caricature per se, like this particular broadcast, which are the 10 questions that caricature artists get asked, and what people are really thinking, or at least these are the 10 questions that I get asked a lot, and what you should be thinking about them and how you should be responding to them. So let's get started. Question number one, and these are not in terms of priority, these are just in terms of what I've thought up, as I was making the list. Okay, question number one. How long does it take to do a caricature? When a person asks you, how long does it take, what they're really saying on some level is, this is an impulse item. I was passing by, I just came to the party, or I was just passing by on the street on my way to the grocery store or the museum or whatever, and you're standing here, I don't have a lot of time for you. How long does it take to do this? Can I really do this and get on with my day? And it's a fair question. It's a fair question because they were not expecting to see you. And it's one of the reasons why I say, this is me personally, this is my personal philosophy, that if you're going to be a caricature artist at a party or at retail, you really should be fast. And by fast, I mean, I say anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes it should take you to draw a caricature, because it is, for the most part, an impulse item. People are not expecting to see you. You're just there. They want to get a souvenir, for the party. They want to get a party favor and go on to the rest of and handle the rest of the party, or they just want something, to brighten up their day. And this will translate into more money for you, if you can draw fast, and also will spread your fame as a caricature artist who can draw fast. So it's very important, to get your speed up. So when they ask you how long does it take, that's what they're really asking you. That's what they're really saying. Number two, I have a cousin who does that, or a brother, or a friend, or a girlfriend, or some guy. This is really a subtle kind of put down. What they're really saying is, what you do is not so special. I know somebody who does that just as well as you do. And be honest, there are people out there in this world who don't want to see you making a living or even having a good time, because most people's lives or jobs are lousy, back-breaking work. They cannot conceive of anyone, anywhere, doing something that's fun, that's exciting, that even looks like it's the least bit fulfilling, so there's just something in them that wants to take you down a peg. Now, on the other hand, sometimes it's not negative. Sometimes they really, really feel in their heart that their cousin can do the same thing because he draws. And if you're an artist, you can draw anything. And that's really a belittling of your profession. They don't know it, but they really think that what you do on some level is not all that complicated. It's like saying, when you meet a lawyer, hey, I have an aunt, man, she can argue just like you. She could do your job. She could be a lawyer too. She does that. And that would be ridiculous unless she has a law degree. So it's really a subtle putting down of your profession. Okay? Number 3, let's see. This is one of my favorites. Is this your real job? Or, what else do you do? Imagine me going to a cocktail party. Hi, how you doing? What's your name? Oh, your name is John Smith. I'm a lawyer. Oh, what else do you do? Can you imagine saying that to a lawyer, a doctor, or a teacher? Oh, you're a school teacher. Oh, is that your real job? What else do you do? And so, do you hear the subtle put down in that? Oh, that's not a real job. Drawing pictures of people at a party, that's not a real job. What else do you do to support yourself? Because you're one step above above homeless person? What else do you do to be a productive member of society? Because this is really like a substandard kiddie job. What else do you do that's important? I know this sounds cynical, but it's sometimes you can hear the tone in people's voices when they ask you, what else do you do, as if you should be doing something else. And we're living in a society now where everybody on some level should be doing something else. Because of the way the economy is, because the way the job market is. Nobody's job is really as certain now as it was years and years ago, and I mean many moons ago, decades ago. It's not the same place. So when somebody asks you as an artist, what else do you do? It's a subtle put down. I would even come with the rebuttal, well, what do you do? And what else do you do? Why do I need to do anything else? Why can't I be fulfilling as an artist? I do this. This is my profession. This is why I'm here. And people pay hundreds of dollars an hour for me to do exactly what I'm doing. And I'm very fortunate to do it. It's a subtle put down. What else do you do? Why do you need to do anything else? Number 4. It doesn't look like me. That's a self-esteem issue right then and there. Now, granted, sometimes it doesn't look, there's a reason why it might not look like it. Sometimes it's a skill level on your part. It doesn't look like them, objectively. And that's something you have to deal with and work on your own skills. But oftentimes, it's a self-esteem issue. I would have to say, when I've gotten this response from people, 9 out of 10 times, it was spot on, exactly like them. People in the background are laughing because it looks like them. But you see, the average person doesn't see themselves. They've never really objectively seen and evaluated their own appearance. And when they see it in black and white, without all of their mental gymnastics going on, they really are shocked. And they can't believe it. It short circuits their self-esteem. And they don't want their self-esteem lowered, so they will put it back on you. It doesn't look like me. When you hear that response, 9 out of 10 times, smile, give the person the paper, be gracious, say, sorry, I missed a few, but know in your heart that you definitely nailed that person. That is a clear indicator. And another reason why they may feel that way, like in my case, I draw people not so much from the front view like this, but from the 3/4 view like this. And most people aren't used to viewing their face from the 3/4 view, so it really might be an angle thing. They're not used to viewing their face from any other angle other than the front angle. So to them, it might really not look like them. But that brings me to my next response. Somebody will always say, it's not supposed to look like you. It's a caricature. Imagine me going to my barber, and he messes up my hair. And somebody in the next chair says, it's not supposed to be cut right. He's a barber. Hey, he's not supposed to win your case. He's a lawyer. Hey, your tooth is not supposed to stop hurting. He's a dentist. It's ridiculous. It's a subtle put down, of your profession. And I don't know. I have no commentary on this. It's ridiculous. It's just a ridiculous thing to say. And it's usually parents will say this to their kids because the kid is feeling bad about the caricature, or a person will say it to their friend because they're feeling bad and they want to make them feel good, and they're going to throw the caricature artist under the bus and say, hey, it's their fault. They were dumb. It's not supposed to look like you. That's not really you. They were just having fun. It's a self-esteem issue, again. 7, why do I need a contract? Now, I get this from people who, when I tell them, well, I work with contracts, and I'll email you one over so we can solidify the party. Why do I need a contract? They say, and the implication is, well, don't you trust me? I mean, really, you're just an artist. This is supposed to be a fun thing. If it's a fun thing, it's not a business thing. We don't have to sign papers and get agreements and iron things out. No, this is a fun thing. Why do I need a contract? And the reason why they're saying that, because in this world of laws that we live in, contracts mean things. Contracts means something is supposed to happen a certain way, and then when it doesn't, there are consequences. And people usually, when it comes to an artist with entertainment, the artist is the first one to get thrown under the bus. So they want to have a little wiggle room that if they've gone over budget, they're not going to throw away the DJ, they're not going to throw away the clown, Wow, ironically, they're not certainly not going to throw away the food, but they will throw away the artist. And so they want to have that wiggle room to be able to throw away somebody. That's why and I can tell you, honestly, anytime I haven't worked with a contract, I've gotten screwed. Every time. Every time. So that's what that question's about. Yes, we need a contract. Here's another one of my favorites. 8. I have to speak to my husband. This happens during negotiations a lot. You negotiate with a person, they give you one price, can you afford to pay this? No, I can afford to pay this. And then you agree to that price. I'm speaking about something that's happening to me right now. And the person will say, I have to speak to my husband. 9 out of 10 times, I know when a woman says that, I might as well go on to the next job, and here's why. Women don't speak to their husbands when they're planning parties. Women are the party planners. Men genuinely show up for the parties and say, oh yeah, everything looks really nice. A man can care less. Can care less. If he's giving his wife a certain amount of money, he says, go make it happen. And once the money's in her hand, she makes it happy, and she usually overspends, and that's it. Women don't consult their husbands about things like this, and when they're saying that, they're trying to give themselves wiggle room to not use you on some level. I've had it happen too many times. When you hear that, don't get discouraged. Just know that maybe you should be looking for another job, because it may not happen with that person. Okay, can you do just one more? Number 9. That's like saying to the DJ after he's played 3 hours, can you do just one more song? Hey, can you do just one more magic trick? Hey, can you pull just one more tooth in my mouth if you're a dentist? Can you cut this person's hair? It's just one more. When people are done working, when their shift is over, they're done. They've given you their time, they've given you their effort, they've poured out their talent, and time is money. Now, a conscientious person will understand that and will sit down, they'll pay you and say, I want you to do one more. Here you go. They understand how this works. And for a person like that, I'm always, usually more apt to do that person. But if a person just comes up, hey, can you do one more? And they're not offering anything, what they're doing is they're being insulting of your time and your effort and not really respecting your work. Because I tell you, in this country, in this world, when 5 o'clock hits, most people are out of the door. And when their boss says, can you do just one more? Can you make just one more phone call? Even if they do it for fear of firing, they're not happy about it. So why should it be why should it be any different with us? And finally, last thing, the question I get asked is, how much do you charge? Important question. Never answer it at a party. Never answer it there. Okay? Because it's like if you're a lawyer and you're sitting down having a good time at a party and a person starts asking you about your fees and everything. You don't discuss business when when in that setting. When you're at work, you're not going to discuss work with another potential client. No. Okay? Because you may say things that you don't want to say. You may have offered that particular client at that party that you're at a discount or made out some kind of deal with them, and it might get back to them. Oh, he offered you this much, he's giving me this much. Wow, this guy's robbing me. This guy's overcharging me or undercharging me, or whatever. You want to make this professional. No, we're going to sit down, or I'm going to call you on the phone, and we're going to have, a conversation about this and work out your particular situation. You always want to present yourself as a professional. Never negotiate a party, at a party. And if anything, I'm also against handing out business cards. Don't hand out a business card because those can be thrown away or lost. Hand out a flyer with all of your information on it and also with your pictures on it. It'll have a much better lasting impression than a business card. And so those are my top 10 things, questions that caricature artists get asked. If you have some more, if you have comments, please comment. This is Elgin, Subway Surfer Bowling, your creative caricature marketing consultant.